Hello everyone and welcome to our third DSC Resource Kit community call. I would like to remind everyone that this call will be recorded so that we can post it to everyone later. So the first thing we have on the agenda is that all the labels of every repository in the DSC Resource Kit have been updated. They should all be the same now. There is actually only one repository which does not have the same labels as every other repository, which is SharePoint DSC, because Brian Farnhill is such an amazing maintainer that he can make his own labels and I don't have to worry about his process or whatever he wants to do there. And those labels have all been updated so that we can now have a new waffle board, a new dashboard for the entire DSC Resource Kit that lists all issues and all PRs in all 56 repositories. So if you haven't checked this out yet, I would really look at it because it's completely changed how I work. So you can see anything new that doesn't have a label yet usually ends up over on the left in the backlog column. We list all of our issues that are currently blocking a release. So that's currently only one issue in Xweb Deploy, which I'll talk about a little bit later. We can see all of our questions here. So any questions that come up throughout the whole DSC Resource Kit, you can see them there. And here I'll post in the IM the link to that waffle board. We can also see PRs or issues that need review. Normally when an issue needs review is marked as needs review, it's a new module submission. We can also see things that are waiting for the author, so we know which PRs maybe we should ignore for now because we're waiting for somebody to do something. You can see all the module proposals that are here, and we can see our very large list of issues that need help. So we now have that. We have also updated a lot of our documentation. The number one I would say is our entire contributing document has been rewritten. There's a link to that one. So we got a lot of feedback, especially from our first community call, that there wasn't a lot of help if you were new. You didn't really know what to do when you came into the DSC Resource Kit. Now we have instructions for submitting an issue. We have instructions for how you can start fixing an issue, submitting a new resource, submitting a new resource module, writing documentation or contributing to existing documentation, and also reviewing pull requests. This section is especially new, the reviewing pull requests, because we're really encouraging that anyone can review a pull request. Only the maintainers can actually merge a pull request, but there are very few maintainers right now, and it really helps us out if somebody else can take a look at a PR and go ahead and review it before we get to it. And that we'll still go ahead and check the review and glance over the code and make sure everything's okay, but it really makes it go a lot faster when somebody else has already started the review of a PR. So those instructions are now all up in our brand new rewritten contributing document in the main DSC resources repository. Another piece of documentation that got updated is our Getting Started with GitHub guide. We've added a lot to our section on reserving merge conflicts because we really want to promote rebasing now instead of the normal git merge that we were doing before. So check this out if you don't know how to rebase. This really helps out. And a big shout out to, I'm going to mess up this last name, Johan Lundgren. He rewrote this whole section to explain Git rebasing and help people reserve merge conflicts. So this is super helpful for that. One note about this documentation to watch out for, further up in the documentation, it actually tells you to set up your origin as what I would consider as the upstream official repository, and then it has you set up your actual fork as something called my. That can be a little confusing because by default, Git will set up your origin as your fork. So if you just skip ahead to the resolve merge conflicts section and you see origin here, just be warned that this is the origin as it's referred to in this documentation and not your fork. And yes, that should be fixed. That's on the to-do list. We're getting there. Another cool piece of documentation that's been added is we now have a getting started with pester guide. So again, from the first community call, we got a lot of feedback that we didn't really have tutorials or very thorough tutorials on if you're super new to pester, how do you do it? If you're super new to testing, like what's a unit test? Things like that. What's an integration test? Important concepts in test. And so this has all been contributed by Adam Hayes. So thank you, Adam. This is some great documentation on getting started with pester and how you can start writing tests. So if in your PR we ask you, please write unit tests, we can go ahead and point to this document now and say, here you go, here's a guide for how to write those tests. Let's see. All right, next up, modules currently on track to be released next week, not quite a week from today. It'll be released next Wednesday. The current ones that are on track are SharePoint DSC, as long as Brian's ready to release, Exchange, XPS desired state configuration, which is actually what we're focusing on now, and I'll get to that later. XSQL Server has a bunch of updates, including, I think, some breaking changes. Storage has a lot of updates. System Security has a new resource. Time Zone has a little update, and Web Admin also has some updates. So those are currently the 8 modules, I believe, on track to be released. Let's go back to our agenda. All right, and then we have 2 brand new resource modules. First is Office Online Server DSC, which was contributed by the amazing Brian Farnhill, who also maintains our SharePoint DSC. So this provides the ability to install Office Online Server, formerly known as Office Web App Server. So if you're interested, I would definitely take a look at our brand new Office Online Server DSC. We also have a brand new module, System Locale DSC, contributed by Daniel Scott Rainsford. Thank you for that. This is a module to configure the System Locale on Windows machines. Super cool new module. Go ahead and check that out, System Locale DSC. All right, so PS desired state configuration. Currently, our team here is really focused on updating this XPS desired state configuration module to a high quality resource module. We are contributing all of our resources right now to upgrading that entire module. There are specifically some resources that we are focusing on for internal reasons right now. So the resources that are high priority right now to go into a XPS desired state configuration high quality module release are group, service, user, Windows optional feature, and Windows package cab. I have a PR open for Windows optional feature right now. That one should be just about high quality, good to go. Service is also really close. We have Mariah working on user right now. I still need to port Windows Package Cab. That will actually be brand new to the open source module. Um, and then group will still need to be updated. So we're thinking of, I don't know if we'll make it by the release on next Wednesday, but we need to release a high quality resource module of XPS DSC that contains at least the high quality version of these resources. So we're trying to make it by the release next week, but if we can't, then we'll at least have it by the end of October of the first release of this high quality PSDSC with these 5 resources in it. And as the port to high quality resource module, instead of just removing the X and having it be called PS desired state configuration, we actually can't do that because that's what the inbox module is called. And this high quality version of that module doesn't actually contain all of the resources that are in the inbox module, specifically the file resource, which I can't quite port to open source. So because we can't just get rid of those extra resources that are available in the inbox, we're going to rename the high quality one to just PSDSC. And then that'll actually fit with our convention for high quality modules in the resource kit with ending with DSC. So the high quality one will be shortened instead of just taking off the X. To answer Ryan's question here in the IM, will XPS desired state configuration be ported to be a first cross-plat DSC module? I would say that's not the focus, right now, for it just moving to a high quality module, but I would definitely be interested in making it cross-platform if anybody's willing to contribute any changes there. All right. And because we are focusing on XPS desired state configuration so much internally right now, that does take away from us reviewing new modules that have come in and PRs in other repositories. I'm sorry, we try to get to them when we can. I know, especially in XSQL Server, there's a lot of PRs sitting there that need to be reviewed. And there's quite a few new module submissions that are still waiting for review. We're getting to them. It just takes a while because there's not very many of us. So please bear with us and have patience. All right, so that problem, that blocking issue that I mentioned before, that's in X Web Deploy, it's the only repository that has a blocking issue left. And there's no PRs waiting behind this bug, so I'm not that concerned about it. But we're getting this error down here, this weird cast error, and after a lot of debugging, we figured out that it's an issue in our common tests. They edit the path at one point, and apparently that's messing up script analyzer somehow in this module. So that's what's going on. We're still looking at it. If there's any PRs that come up waiting behind it, we can turn our attention more towards it. But we have looked at it and we're looking at a solution now. So that's what's going on with that. All right, and then specifically in this past iteration, there's been a lot of debate surrounding the test templates, how exactly they should be configured, whether we should have a this pester call to in-module scope that surrounds the entire test block. Mariah, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the general consensus is that we're going to keep this all-encapsulating in-module scope until pester can support nested describe blocks.
Yeah, that's correct for now. So we'll just leave it in for, it doesn't seem to be causing any issues, and it's especially nice for unit testing. Well, I mean, of course, the internal functions, but even for the external ones, so that they can use not global variables, but so that you can make kind of mocked variables to use throughout your tests. So for now, it seems like the easiest workaround until Pester comes up with other updates. So we will update you on if any of that changes and update the unit tests as progress, or as if we change anything else. So yeah. Right now the unit test template should be pretty much up to date. And the integration test template is still might have a few more tweaks, but yeah, make sure you're always using you're downloading the most updated templates for writing tests, because we do change those pretty consistently.
Yeah, and if we do have inconsistencies with our review comments, that maybe we comment on something that you did just because it aligns with the test template. Our test templates aren't really set in stone yet. We always find things that, oh, we're not quite happy with that when we need to make a little tweak here. So just bear with us in the review comments if maybe we don't like part of the template that we made so much. So that's everything I have on our agenda. Is there anything anybody else would like to bring up, or any feedback that you guys have for us? Anything we should particularly focus on in this next iteration, maybe? Any modules specifically that you guys really like or would like to be updated? Okay. Well, that's all I've got for you guys. If you guys think of anything later, I'll also open an issue in DSC Resources, so you can post any comments or feedback there. Thanks for listening in on our DSC Resource Kit community call. Bye, guys.